Today is October 18, 2023, and this meeting is for our LJ Realty team. And we're going to go over interest rates, what's on the market, and we have good few topics for you guys, especially for the rental side. So you guys will learn that. Okay. So let's get started with the interest rates. Some of you guys already following on daily basis or at least weekly basis with us here. So Freddie Mac calculation for last week was 7.57, and we wish that that was the case. But as you know, that Mortgage News Daily has most updated one, and according to them, we are at the highest that we have seen in the last 2 weeks, which is 7.92. So your clients, as a real estate agent, again, will have to worry about their mortgage payment, and they might have to go with a little bit less than what they were initially looking for. Let's say they were looking for $625,000 house, they might have to go with maybe 580. So these higher interest rates do affect them dramatically. So with this almost 8% interest rate, just their monthly mortgage, monthly principal and interest mortgage payment is going to be 3641. Okay, so that's on a $500,000 loan. That's what they're looking at. If they go with the FHA is a little bit less compared to what we're seeing here. To your 30-year conventional, your FHA is 7.34. Again, anything above 7 seems very high, but we're hitting 8 right now. So expect that for next coming weeks, next coming months. So all of a sudden, people who closed last month, they feel like they got a good deal because they were locking in at 7.49, and now that doesn't seem like it's going to be possible for the new clients. Okay. So for next couple of months, we are still expecting these interest rates to go higher. And then hopefully next year they come down. When next year, we don't know. But just when you're having a conversation with your clients, just understand that they're going through this. Okay. The government is trying to bring down the inflation rate much as possible, but for August and September, both of them were at 3.7. So their target is to hit this number as 2%, even if they cannot, but lower the better for them. But in September, it was not changed from August. Compared to last year, as you can see, there was huge changes. But as of this year, start of this year, we started with around 6% inflation rate, and it has been coming down. And if we feel like if the Fed has this goal of 2%, they will increase the interest rates once again before end of the year. Okay, so we will see officers locking in interest rates above 8%. So just expect that in the coming months. So what does that do to your affordability? So we're going to use today's average of 7.92. Your clients has this interest rate today, and let's say they're making a household income is $125,000, and they have a down payment savings of $65,000, and their monthly debt is around $250, which is the average that we see here. But your client have more or less. But let's just go with 250. Property taxes, we will go on the lower end of $5,000. If they're looking in Nassau County, this is not going to be possible. You're going to be looking at maybe double this. Your property insurance, typically $1,500 is a good number for a single family. It might be less, a little bit more, but 1,500 on average. Family can purchase a house around $628,000, and their monthly payment with these specs is going to be around $4,700 or 4645, right? So again, if their goal was to have a mortgage less than $4,000, then they have to go with lower home price. Simple as that. Okay, so you as a realtor should be having an open conversation with your client. Hey, I understand that you got a pre-approval from your loan officer 6 months ago. Things have changed. Let's speak to your loan officer again and make sure that you still qualify for $625,000 when we're about to put in an offer. Okay, affordability is changing every week because of these higher interest rates. Okay, the prices are not budging as much just because there's enough buyers for whatever inventory we do have. Do we have a lot of inventory? We do not. Do we have enough buyers for that? Definitely we do, right? So what is happening with the prices? They're simply not coming as down as much people would want, right? Someone would say, "Hey, yes, I'm going with the 8% interest rate, but I really want to get a good deal." So if the property is listed for $600,000, you as a realtor, you would want to negotiate down much as possible for them. Okay. So on Nassau, these are the stats from September. Your average selling price was $966,000, and average list price was about $1 million. So you can see around only $34,000, $35,000 in difference uh, from the listing price and the selling price. And what does that do to your supply and demand here? Your supply, which is your property's inventory, it dropped around 3.5%. Okay. And your demand, these are your buyers, they dropped around 2%. So again, if we see this demand go down even 5%, I think as realtor we should be okay. But we would definitely need more inventory. It's just not enough houses out there for you guys to show. So whatever house that you guys do see, you have to take action on it right away, because there might be another 50 other agents trying to look for that same specs for that property. So you want to be one of the first ones to show that property and put in your offers. Okay. So here are some news, guys. Some headlines from the news here. The borrowing cost continues to hover over 23-year high. Definitely, that we're seeing this on their closing costs, their down payment, the interest rates in general. Everything's on the higher end as of now. Your mortgage rates close to 8%, as we just mentioned, and economy refuses to cool. So the government is trying to say, We're perfectly fine if you don't want to buy a new car or new house or new this or new that. We're okay with that. We don't want you to spend a lot of money because we have done that, enough for since COVID. So they're trying to control that supply and demand. But what is happening with our builders? These are the people who are building the houses. Even they're scared, especially property that has over $1 million value on it. Because of the high interest rates, that pool of buyers are decreasing, right? Because when you're looking for a single family, you are looking for maybe five or $600,000, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, fine. But when it comes to two family, you have different levels. Maybe you want to go with $900,000 property or $1.3 million property. In South Olsen Park here, we have a property under contract with Rupinder at 125th Street here. We for 1.3 million, very similar specs for that. To be honest, it's like 100%, same specs as the property that she has under contract. And I just called up the listing agent a few days ago. Hey, what is it? What they're asking for? They're asking for $1.5 million, right? So $200,000 over what we're under contract with for the same specs. Only time will tell what kind of property or what kind of price that they will be going and closing with, but we're still seeing on the higher end. But those builders, the person who built it, he's listing for 1.5. If he's scared or if he needs to close this deal and move on, they simply go with maybe 1.3, 1.4. Time will tell, but they are definitely asking on the high end. But when they're looking at all these stats, they might accept lower. So when you see a crazy price like this, show the property as a realtor, put in your offer that you truly feel like, that's what will get the deal done, and go from there. Pending home sales, just in general, dropped around 7%. And we can see that that's due to the higher interest rates. Okay. Some of us, our agents here, we're having this conversation with forbearance. Some people feel like, hey, there's not enough short sales or for sale by owner properties or any of those sorts. Just the forbearance part. The property, a homeowner cannot make a payment on time. The bank is not trying to take them to the court right away. They're trying to understand their situation. They're trying to see if we can recoup that money first. If there's a truly hardship, they might go with the short sale property and actually approve it. But if there's no true hardship, if the person is just deciding not to pay, eventually they will get kicked out of that house. Okay. Just don't think that you're living in New York City, you're gonna stop paying your mortgage and you can live there forever. It's not gonna be that case. Right now, forbearance are low. Why is that? mainly because during COVID time, when the interest rates dropped, most people refinanced and they have lower payments and they can afford those payments, right? Again, some buyers, Americans, are desperate to purchase because of low inventory, and they say, "Hey, this was I found it interesting that they would buy a haunted house. I would never do that. I'm scared as anything, you know. If it's a haunted house, there's no way I'm putting in an offer. I don't want to see the house, but there's people that's willing to do that. So, if there's anybody that listed this, especially you will see this in deep Long Island. This few property that I personally saw. Uh, yes, Hassan. Yeah, sorry. So you raise. Yep. Yeah, so last meeting we mentioned that there's some agents would know that hey, this property is haunted, or they had something paranormal activity happened here, and some of them do not want to disclose that. But us as realtors, we have to do the right thing. If the owner is telling you, hey, there's something been going on, it's weird things been going on, you should disclose that, because the new buyer is going to go through that. Just because that people, we mentioned that in the last meeting, around 40 to 50% of the value drops when you actually mention that this was a haunted house. So obviously they want to hide it, but should you? Absolutely not, right? But people are doing that. Mhm. Correct. Yeah, correct. Any information that you know about the property, you already know that, and is should be disclosed. You should disclose that on MLS. All right. You're welcome. All right. All right, guys. Next is that some of you guys, we want to talk about renting side, right? So when the market is the way it is right now, there's still money to be made from the renting side. You guys are already licensed. You guys should definitely be on the renting side. If you haven't rented out any property in the past year, you should start looking into that, because you can really rent out a property, make at least $1,000, $1,500 from that, and then move on to the second one. We have few agents that's really, like, 100% with the rental side, and they're making good amount of commission. So you guys can do the same thing if you're not doing that yet, right? What is the purpose? Hey, you looking for a one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedrooms in this area? You're going to do the same exact thing what you do with your buying side. You're finding it, adding properties, or looking for properties in KV Core, right? Simple as that. And showing them whatever is available. Some of these guys do have vouchers. We legally have to accept vouchers. So, be on that side. Make set a goal like, hey, I haven't closed any renting in the past. I want to do this. How could I do this? Right? Get your name out there, promote yourself on the renting side as well. Okay. Talking about open houses, this was interesting that someone hosted an open house that lasted 64 hours. They had a cause, right? It was for Alzheimer's, and they raised about $40,000. We're not expecting you guys to host long hour open houses, but when you have a listing and you're not hosting open houses, you're missing out on a lot. You might think that, hey, nobody's going to show up. You're assuming that, hey, I'm going to only do it for 1 hour. You know, those things are like all negativity. You're not going to close on that deal quick. So if you really want to, be under contract with that property, you have to host open houses. Do as much as possible, even if that client that's coming in, or that buyers that's coming in, and they don't like that particular property, or whatever they don't like about that particular property, you can show them others. You already know which area they want to be in. You already know what kind of house they're looking for. So why not get them as a buyer's lead? You definitely go under contract when you host open houses. Okay. If you can do it, right? There's times where you cannot do this, and we have 70 agents. You can tell someone, hey, host an open house for me. Either and work out a plan. If you get buyers leads, you get this much, or I'll just give you flat, $100, $200 to host the open house. Whatever guys want to do. The goal here is to host open houses. The owner is definitely looking at it. The owner is really is gonna pay attention to you, how much activity you're doing for that owner. You could be promising a lot when you're getting the listing, and then you're not delivering, it's going to be a negative effect on you. Okay. So here are some stats from NAR research here. On average, here we're going to talk about down payment today. Here, you guys, repeat buyers, they're paying down around 17% of the purchase price for their down payment, whereas your first-time home buyers only putting down on average of 6%. So you have to have that conversation with your clients. Hey, you don't need 20%. You can put down less. There's FHA programs out there. You can go with less. If you're renting, you have enough money and you know that you're going to be living in this area or whatever particular area for quite some time now, you should definitely buy. Okay. So, according to recent data, 65 of the residential realtors meet with their prospective they never met with either in their office or a neutral location. I would say that if you have never met with your client and you want to be professional, bring them to the office first. Add them to KV Core, show them properties that you have available, and then you want to meet at the location. Okay, whatever property they're interested in, you want to meet them there. You never want to meet them at their house. There's no reason for you to meet them at their house. Okay. Some of the, our female agents here, we want you to be, extra careful when these guys are brand new, just sending you a text message, hey, I want to see this property, and you have no contact with them. First approach should be, hey, let's meet in the office here. Let's get to know each other. Let me show you some properties online, and then you show me which property that you want to actually see inside. Okay. So stay safe there, guys. And next thing here, this is for the firms here. 63% of the firms were concerned about young adults' ability to buy a house. Just with higher interest rate, people are having hard time saving up for their down payment. Definitely, there's enough buyers out there, but young adults still have that issue or have that concern. Can I buy a house? Is this a good deal for me or not? Okay. So let's talk about down payment, guys, right? So just know as realtors that anybody that you have a client and they say, hey, I'm going to go with the FHA loan. You are not a loan officer, so you might be not do not know all the guidelines for FHA. But you should just know that if your client is looking for a one family, two family, three family, or four family, they can literally put down 3.5%. If it's going to be FHA loan, just know that they have to live there for at least a year. If they're going to live there in one unit for a year, they are already renting out the other. Let's say they're buying a four family, they're going to rent out the other three units. After a year, that person can move out and rent out the first unit as well. Okay, that's completely legal, but they just have to live there for one full year, and they can put down what 3.5%. If the same person is going with a loan officer and is going to go with a conventional loan, there are some benefits to that as well. And if it's going to be just a single family, one unit, they can put down with different programs that we have 3%, 5%. If it's going to be a two unit, minimum we need is 15% for conventional. And if they're going to buy a three or four units, then we need 20%. Okay, this is where a lot of people think, hey, I need conventional, I need 20%. No, if it's going to be your primary residence, then you don't need 20% if you're going to buy one or two units. Okay. On the other hand, if you're not going to live there, you're going to be considered that property as an investment. So if it's going to be an investment, there's no FHA option. Why? Because you must live there for a year. We just mentioned that. Right? So if it's going to be an investment, so forget about FHA. You only have conventional option for your investment. And if it's going to be a one unit, you're putting down 15%. Two or more unit, you need 25%. Okay. So real quick, if you want to be living there, it's going to be your primary residence. You're going with the FHA. One through four unit simply need 3.5. For conventional, 3 point between 3 and 5% for your one unit, two units 15%, and 20 for three and four. And for your investment, no FHA option. For your conventional, for one unit 15%, two plus 25%. Okay. We will share these with you guys around 4 o'clock. So you guys can, you don't have to make any notes, but you guys can take a look at it. Okay. On this slide, you can see more than half the buyers with no more than 20% down payment. So you have your first time home buyers in red, and you have new home buyers in your blue here. Okay. Again, the point of this down payment to the realtor is that you guys should know that you do not need 20% in all the, all your scenarios. Okay. Next, guys, you guys want to focus on your millennials. These are your main, clients that are ready. They're started their family already. They graduated from college a few years ago. They already have a steady job. They're starting a family, and they're going to be purchasing these houses, right? They're going to be your primary target. So, just we mentioned that not everybody able to for their down payment save up that money. 55% of them have family available as a source of financial help or assistance if needed. Okay. They're saying Asian and Hispanic families are more likely to provide financial assistance. Okay. So when you're talking to these clients, they will ask you, hey, I don't have enough money in my bank, but my mother might give me, $20,000 as a gift. Is that allowed? Yes. Talk to your loan officer. That should be doable there. Okay. 76% of these millennials believe that there is a benefit of purchasing a house largely outweighs the risk. What is the risk there? You have a huge mortgage. Let's say that mortgage you're not able to pay, you can lose that house, right? So there are some people scared, but at the same time, if you buy a house, you hold on to it for 5 to 10 years, and when you want to and then sell it, you'll definitely have enough equity built over the years compared to renting. Okay. 25% of them are scared of the mortgages, like we mentioned here. And 56% of them have a strong saving plan in place to reach their financial goals. So these guys are educated, right? They're a lot more educated from the previous generation. They are trying to save. They are taking care of their credit scores. They're paying attention to that. So you just want to be their guidance when it comes to home buying, right? Tell them, you have issue with down payment. Tell me what the issue is. How much you have already saved up? What is your goal? Are you trying to save up for 20%? You don't need that. So those conversation will get you, uh, you know, basically make you look professional when you're talking to your clients. Okay. Next, guys, here we're going to talk about your working with the agent or no agent, right? What are some benefits when you're talking to your clients? These are some of the things that you should already know, but we're going to break it down for you guys. So, if you are working with an agent, you have large database of available homes, right? You have KV Core, it pulls in all the records that's listed on MLS, you're sending that out. On the other hand, your client might be on three different websites, trying to figure out, they might be looking for properties that's, might be short sale, and they have no clue what short sale is. You know, um, you as an agent can provide the most up to date home status information. Like we mentioned, they might be looking for a property that's already under contract and they have no idea about it, right? Maximum visibility of home for sale. Again, on the other hand, there's going to be fewer homes for buyers to choose from real estate websites, right? There might be some listings that's off market that you would know and not they do not. Then you have tools like Geodata, you have your Property Shark, you have RPR, you have all these tools to verify and provide them with the most accurate information, right? We don't just have one tool; we have multiple tools. So when you're talking to these clients, hey, when we're putting in an offer, I'm checking with three different databases, making sure that we're putting in a solid offer, right? And we're working with the buyers and seller brokers, and on the other hand they're going to be working with directly either the seller or they're going to be working with the listing agent, right? You as a buyer agent, you have to show them what value you're bringing to them. Okay. Now let's talk about your commission, right? Commission is a big topic right now, just all over United States because of the cases that's been going on. Now, according to NAR here, they're saying that hey, if the buyer has to pay that commission to the buyer's agent, that's going to add thousands of dollars extra to their transaction, right? On typically, American household has an average of $5,300 in the bank, when even if when they need 3.5% down payment, we still need around $16,000, right? In New York here, we know that the property values are a lot more, so we probably need double that in here. So when you're saying, hey, you have your down payment, you have your closing cost, and now you have something new, you have to pay your agent, right? So they're going to have additional cost now. So that's going to reflect, overall of if they're going to purchase or not, right? Some of you guys already contacted me showing me some screenshots of properties that shows that buyer agency comp 0%. So I told them, do not be surprised. It's completely legal for a listing agent to say, hey, I'm not going to pay you guys anything. You get paid from your buyer directly, right? So I told that agent to contact the listing agent and ask them if they're actually paying them or not. And they said they are paying them. So, like I said, you always want to verify with the listing agent if they're actually paying or not. If MLS says 0%, and if they're on the phone, they're telling you, yeah, they will pay that, you want to send them the co-brokerage agreement right away in your email, so they can e-sign that. So you know for sure that you will get paid. You want to get all this done before the contract is up. Once the file is under contract, there's not much you can do to get compensated after that. Okay. Anybody has any thoughts on that? Just in general, like, the commission structure that is changing. All right. So the case, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Of over 100 years. This law that we're talking about, over 100 years. So this is what's been going on right now for, over 100 years. Nobody complained. Now the case that I'm reading up on with NAR, that the case is still going on in court as we speak. And their argument is that, hey, we're not requiring the agent or the seller to pay the commission. We're asking them if they want to pay it, making it optional, right? So if the seller says, "Hey, there's gonna be, like I said, there's gonna be pros and cons to that. There's gonna be so many different scenarios once it's actually implemented." The seller, end of the day, if someone has to pay $10,000, someone is paying that. Yes, I know that the seller is receiving money. End of the day, let's just say he did not have to pay that $10,000. Guess what? He was gonna get that $10,000 extra in his price, right? So you're gonna see on both ends, but maybe by end of this month or maybe early next month we will see better outcome once the case is over, and see how that actually goes. But just know that you're going to have the seller is going to have options. If I'm the listing agent, I'm going to try to tell them, hey, pay them so this way we can sell this property quicker, because it's going to be harder for the buyer's agent, one, to negotiate with you with the price, and then negotiate with their buyer for their commission, right? And guess what? If someone wants to put in an offer for $600,000, if you're the buyer's agent, you probably say, "Hey, you're gonna pay me $10,000. Let's put in an offer for 590." You know what I'm, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be different scenarios going out, and you guys decide how that works out. But if you guys, go ahead. Yes, yes. On MLS, they're allowing this as of last month to put 0% for buyer's agent. Sure. So this started a couple of months back when the government there was a commercial listing, and the commercial listing was for about, I think they were charging 6% to, one of the to the owner, and that owner sued, and that case been going on. And when the case went on, I'll get you the exact date when it started, but it started with just one person, one owner, just going, creating a case. And then when the government took this case and they implied, it was like, no, there's something wrong when we're saying, hey, the seller has to pay both sides, right? And from there, Remax was the first company to go under, and now Keller Williams, EXP, a couple of other ones, Century 21. They all said, "Hey, fine, we'll pay that fine," and millions of dollars, collectively over $100 million. You know, so we don't know how it's going to play out. Not that particular one person is going to get it. Usually when the case is won, the money gets, they put in a fund, is put in a trust fund, and they try to see who's affected by it, by that particular brokerage, and see if they can compensate them, give that money back to those that was affected by it, right? But moving on to, so that's the case that's happening. But moving on with, it's going to affect all of us, every realtor. So you got to have a conversation with your buyers. I was hearing this on 1010 news as well. Hopefully, the word gets out there, so this way, once this case is completed, so we're saying early next month or something, and then it is in the news everywhere. If the owners do know the pros and cons, they probably say, hey, fine, I'll pay you, whatever the commission is, you still got to split it with the buyer's agent, so let's sell this property quicker, right? So if you do want your buyer to pay you, we already added, this was a request from our agent, so we already added this. So when you're on your transaction desk and you select your template as buyer's agent, under there you will see this automatically pop up, exclusive transaction broker agreement. Okay, and we went through this before, so we're not gonna go through this again. Is whatever price you guys agree on. You guys can do it many different ways. You guys can simply say, "Hey, Mr. Buyer, I'll show you as many property as you need." Right? There might be few new property that's coming in the market that's not paying anything to the buyer's agent, so you would need to pay me that. Right? What percentage is that? You guys gonna negotiate that. On the other hand, if I'm getting paid from the selling side, I'm not asking you for anything, right? Another scenario could be, hey, I need to get paid 2% total. If the other person pays me 1%, you got to pay me one. So different agents are coming up with different scenarios. As long as you can have the buyer agree to it, there's no issues there. Keep it very realistic. Make sure that you know what you're doing, because and you're competing with so many other agents, so do the right thing and try to, have those clients sign this when necessary. Okay. So if you want them to stick with you or sign any document, you have to bring some value to them, right? If you're not bringing some value to them, what is the you think they're going to sign any documents for you? They were having a problem. We were having issues just having them sign your agency disclosure, which simply says, "Hey, I'm just representing you." And now you want them to be tied in with you. You're going to show them the properties. You really got to be professional. You really got to be on top of your game to make sure that you're delivering results to them, right? You can be a part-time agent, right? Don't get that wrong. You can be a part-time agent and still deliver your results, right? How could you do this? It's going to be your KV core. KV core is going to be the most important part in the transaction, because you're showing them properties, you're sending them links before anyone else, right? Uh, there's some files that I look at, will never mention their names. There, you have not looked into those clients for months. You think these people are going to stick with you guys? Simply, it's just the hard truth, right? So if you're sending, on the other hand, if you're sending them links on, daily basis or every other day or at least once a week, that makes a huge difference, right? So if you have any issues with KV Core, tell us that you have any issues. You need to learn this. Once you learn those are one, two, three steps, you will, get those results, right? Some of your clients are in your database for over a year, maybe more than that. Those clients are still working with other agents. You simply do not know that. You're saying that, hey, they're not showing me any interest while they're looking at other properties with other agents and they're about to go under contract. How are you going to know this if you're not paying attention to their, following up with them? Okay. So, mhm. Yeah, once they sign that agreement, they're exclusively working with you. So it's just like a exclusive right to sell. So if you have a listing, doesn't matter who sells it, you're still getting paid. Same thing here. So this is a contract. So simply put, they will not, you can't just be like, hey, sign this and they'll sign it. No, they're gonna read it, they're gonna make sure they agree on the terms, and you have to explain to them that, hey, if you're gonna work with me for the next 6 months, I'm the one that who's representing you. I will put in all the offers for you. If the person goes directly, you can have a case against them. Okay. So it's a legal document. So it's no joke, and nobody's going to sign it right off the bat. You have to bring value to them. You have to, simply put. Okay. So in your KV core, once you have your client there, the two things that you have to look at is your timeline for that client, what type of activity that's happening with that client, and your alerts. What kind of property are they looking for? Do you see any new results for them, and send it to them? Right? You want to review this every single day. Simply put, like, you have 58 clients, 100 clients, 200 clients, doesn't matter what kind of leads that you have, you can literally follow up on them within minutes with KV Core, right? If you're not sending them text messages from KV Core, you're missing out on a lot. Okay. Then before the meeting here, I just took a screenshot of this guy's here. This person viewed this property 4 times, right? So if you have this type of information for your clients, you added them to KV Core, you send them a link, and they have viewed it 4 different times. Guess what? They're showing some interest to that property. Your job is to show, like, hey, the system alerted me that, hey, you sold this property. Would you like to see it inside? You don't have to say, hey, I'm tracking you, this and that. No, I'm simply put, hey, my system showed that you sold this property. Would you like to see it inside? Right? You want to schedule your showings. If you're not showing, you're not closing. Okay. Next, guys, we want to talk about auctions. This is the upcoming auctions and coming up tomorrow here, 2:30. It's happening for New Hyde Park property here. Uh, the property looks good. It's built around 2,300 square feet, 2-story here, two total units. So it's a two-family, built in 2006. Everything looks good about the specs for this property. So I highly recommend, if you have a client, even if you don't have a client and you want to see how the auctions work, just visit your Supreme Court here at 2:30 and see what's going on. We'll share this with you guys later on for the details. Auction.com here. There's another property in Valley Stream, 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, around 1,200 square feet built. The resale value is around $700,000, and the current bid is at 465. If you cannot bid, if you don't know what's going on, you can simply create a auction.com account and pay attention to these properties, right? Are they actually selling? Some of these banks, or most of these banks, they have a reserve amount. So if the auction started at $300,000 and they have a reserve amount for $500,000, that auction needs to hit that $500,000 in order for that transaction to be completed. Right now, if the value is at $700,000, I'm pretty sure that this property is going to go close to $500,000 or more. Okay. So just pay attention to this address. I believe this was going to end in auction.com probably in about an hour or so. If not, maybe already ended. Keep an eye on it. See if the reserve was met. Was this transaction completed? If yes, what value did it go for? Right? If you want to be in the game, guys, you gotta pay attention to these little things, these tools that we have available for you guys. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about your Rent Spree, right? This is an app. Now is a built-in online rental application built in with your transaction desk. So we said there was many benefits that once we move from Dot Loop to our transaction desk, there's going to be some benefits coming down the line. Here's one of them for you guys, right? How many times did you ask, hey, we need to put in an online application, we need to screen our tenant, how can we do this? Some of these companies are charging $30, $35. The New York law is that we have to charge them $20 or less, so they're following everything that we need to, right? And they're really highest rated tenant screening solution. um, Over 1,300 Google reviews here for you, and it will tell the landlord what type of tenant this is, how is their credit and all that good stuff. So where are we going to access this? But before that, if you're a listing agent and you have a rental, you would want to definitely opt in for rent spree when you're adding it to MLS. It's just one option towards bottom of that application when you're submitting for a new listing for rental. Do you want to opt in for a rent spree? Just click on yes, and it will give them an extra link so anybody can apply for that particular property online. So maybe you show them, you can tell them, hey, fill this out online. The screening is going to be $20, and the tenant does it on their own. Okay. So once you're logged into your transaction desk here, the last tab with these two handshake here is called partners. When you see that, there's going to be maybe 5 or 10 different apps that you can partner with, but we're looking for rent spree, right? It makes your screening simple. It's going to collect all the data that you need. It's going to check for their credit, criminal, eviction related proceeding report. So everything for $20 to the tenant, no cost to you. So what are you going to do? Click on these hands, look at rent spree, and click on send application. Once you see that, you're going to go through the pop-up windows that you see and go from there. Simply what we need is just your client's name and their email address. And this is for the tenant. Okay. There's going to be a training that's happening on the 26th. So once you guys log into your Stratus, you should get a pop-up window for the news here. You should definitely register this on Thursday, October 26th between 11 and 12. And this person is going to go through the whole 9 yards with you for rent spree. Okay. Any questions, guys? All right, guys. So next, we're gonna go through some listings that we have available here. This was for Lovejeet property here in Leviton. This property is fully completed now. I have visited this property a few days ago on Monday, and it's everything's completed what it needs to. He's finally getting this final CO this week. It's going to be listed on MLS by end of this week. So our job is to support our agents. So we would highly recommend that you go see the property. See the property because it's listed by our own agent, and see if you have any other client that you can show this to, right? The bare minimum is go see it for yourself. Okay, it's a one family, 5 bedroom, 3.5 baths. Another one is by Raj here. He's going to be hosting an open house this Sunday. It's already listed on MLS. A single family, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. So you can go see that there. We have few agents that's working in Bronx. Ravi just went under contract with in Bronx as well. So we have another listing here that's by Miranda. Again, one family, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, listed for 695. Send it to your clients if you have in Bronx. Okay. So on WhatsApp, Mr. Aslam, our agent here, and Navpreet, they usually send out cash off-market deals. So when you see something like this, you can simply contact them for more details, right? They have one that was listed for asking was 460, and the taxes were less than 10,000. So when they give you the information, it's not the whole 9 yards. You want to ask them, hey, I need the full specs for this. Do you have a video? Do you have any of that so I can see that? Otherwise, just schedule a showing. Go see the property so you can ask them, mingle with them, and actually get to know the agent and the property itself. It makes a huge difference when you're looking at for a property on the computer and the one we actually go see it. Okay. So on weekly basis, they're sending out, and he's getting these properties. Some of you guys ask, is I see the same listings elsewhere. If you see a property and you feel like you're showing interest, contact them and ask for the commission. Hey, I see this elsewhere. What I'm getting paid, right? Once that person is texting you, you guys are verifying that. That's a record. If you guys are having a conversation on the phone and there's no recording or anything like that, there's nothing that you can trace back to. Either do it in an email, do it in a text message, or simply just send out a co-brokerage agreement, which is the most legal form that you can go with. Okay. Again, almost every one of you guys are got used to transaction desk. I have seen transactions being created. Some of them are tests, some of them are actual. There are no issues on that node, but if you guys have any issues or problems or anything like that, just ask me. But it's very straightforward. You're going to access this through your resources on MLS Stratus and click on Instanet. Some of you guys ask, hey, Instanet and transaction desk, what's the difference? There's no difference, right? Instanet is your transaction desk. Okay. And the only three things that you should worry about once you're creating a transaction is your contacts, who's going to be signing your documents, the forms itself, and the signing procedure, right? Once you add your clients, your buyer, husband, wife, whatever the case might be, you sending out the forms, you have your buyer's agency disclosure, you have your exclusive right now, we have your offer sheet, right? Those are the top three that you need. Then once you send it for e-signatures, you want to check the status and you want to print out or download those signed documents. You're going to click on signing. Okay. We got a few more minutes and we're going to go through every new clients that you have. We have one page questionnaire asking them exactly what we need to ask them. You need to add it to KV Core right away. Follow up for showings on weekly basis. If you do these three things on repeat, you will see results, guys. Okay. And especially for your new agents that's joining us. So for your questionnaire, it's a very simple form. Get to know this inside out. Have extra printouts in your bag if you have it or on your laptop. When you come to the office, there are folders available and they have these forms inside of them. If you need to access it, where are you going to access this from? It's going to be on ljagent.com. Okay. Your ljagent.com, these tools, again, every one of these tools are for you guys. There's not one extra tool that's not necessary for real estate agent. We have used it many, many times. That's why we put it here. Some of you guys, when you guys come to the office, no need to log into your KV Core or your Google Chrome or anything. Simply go to ljagent.com, go to Realtor Tools, type in the PIN 2020, and get access to all the links that you need. Okay. Again, there's no other ways of saying it. Showing equals closing. The way the market is, if you're not showing, you're not going to be closing. The client will hop around from agent to agent. They're hungry. They need that property as soon as possible, right? So they want to go with you. But if you're not performing, guess what? You will lose them, right? Opcity is another one. If you want leads, right? We have leads. A new agent joins. The last two new agents that joined us, both of them went heavy with Opcity, and they're showing every week with different clients because they are getting leads from Opcity. Are all leads good? Absolutely not, right? They're simply not. But guess what? We just need to get more quantity from different sources in order to close deals next year, right? So for next year, what is your goal? How many deals do you wish to close next year? Is it zero? Maybe you have a full-time job. You're making 100K. You're good. You don't need to worry about your license, right? That might be a case. Or do you need to close 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever your goal is? But you have to set that as a realtor. Hey, I have this license. I'm paying MLS fees. I'm, attending these meetings. I'm, either utilizing this time or I'm wasting this time, right? You have to decide that, right? Nobody's going to babysit you guys. Simply put, you have to set your goals. We can help you guys out in any way we can, but you have to set your goal. Hey, I have this license and I need to close this deals. Just worry about the quantity, right, of these 5 deals. Don't worry about, hey, I need to make $20,000 because every lead, every deal will have different amounts. We have seen where, if it's a co-op, you guys are making maybe $3,000, and if it's a two family, maybe you guys making $30,000. We have seen it on both ends. You don't know which 5 deals that you're working with that you're going to close. Maybe you'll make that or this, right? Set your goals and then you can definitely achieve them. If you don't set them and you say, hey, I'm going to just let my license hang, guess what? You're not going to close any deals with that motto. Okay. Next, guys, just the programs. We have our team for LJ Mortgage team is growing. We have 16 loan officers now. Again, we just want you to build relationship with these different loan officers and ask them different questions about different clients that you guys have, any scenarios that you might have. Talk to them. You don't have to rely on Josh or me. Just talk to any of them. We are all one big family here. So, we have our loan officer, and there's no kickbacks. So don't expect any money or anything of value returned from these loan officers. We're here to help you guys close your files faster, right? We just want you to close, move on to the next one. We don't want you to worry about, hey, I need to get paid this, that. It's illegal and it's not allowed. And don't expect that from any loan officer. Just expect great service, great programs that we have available. Okay. If you need a helping hand and you want to join a team, we have purple, gold, and blue. These guys are experienced, Sheldon, Rupinder, and AP. All three of them, they know their stuff. Sheldon, he's a associate broker. So you have closed enough deals. Rupinder is very dedicated. She knows what she's talking about. She has listings. AP is definitely getting on the commercial side. So, if you guys want to be involved in these things and you want to be, get that helping hand, join a team. Okay. Your training sessions that we have on Thursdays, they're happening at 10 o'clock just for 30 minutes. And we talk about anything that you guys want to talk about if I'm hosting it. If Rupinder or Sheldon or AP are hosting it, they will have their own topics. Okay. But attend these if you really want to go over anything that has to do with real estate. Once we have that meeting open, say, hey, let's talk about RPR. Go through the whole transaction with me, or Geodata, or Property Shark, whatever the case might be, we can do that. Okay. Next office meeting was scheduled for 28th. I do have a family event that's coming up. I might not be able to make it. We might have to reschedule this. I will give you guys, up to date information probably in a day or two. Okay. I believe around 20 of you guys already came to the office. We reviewed how many transactions you guys already completed. We having you guys sign the agreements. We're setting up Opcity if needed. If you need more business cards, so the new the our agent here, Sukman, assistant here, she's calling you guys. So just schedule a meeting, or you guys already have our link. Just schedule a meeting so you can come in, so we can do the following that we just mentioned. Okay. That will do it, guys. We have a few minutes. Any questions, comments? I know we went through a lot. We will definitely share everything with you guys by end of the day. Yes. 1031 exchange. Okay, that will be the next meeting. Any topic that you guys want to go over, we'll do that, the next meeting. So I'll put it down on my notes here. You'll definitely see the slides next year. We'll go through the whole depth. Just with 1031 exchange. Yeah. So any topics, guys, anything. Down payment was another idea from you guys. Some of you guys were confused. That's why we broke it down. So any ideas, anything you guys want to learn about real estate, just talk to me and we'll definitely add that for the next meeting. All right, guys. All right. So I think that will do it. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you guys